Excellent. So the coronavirus, friends, has really debilitated uh, so much of the world, and yet the fact that we are here together on this platform, doing what we do every year, and it represents, I believe, the triumph of the human spirit against all adversity. And I also thank technology for enabling this coming together, this ingathering and
Good evening
connect.
and Jai Jagat, ladies
Ma'am,
and gentlemen. It's good evening from here in India. Good morning and good afternoon to all the eminent dignitaries who've joined us on this virtual platform on the occasion of the inaugural of the 21st International Conference of the Chief Justices of the World, the inaugural ceremony of this conference. A very warm welcome to each one of you present here this evening here in India. On behalf of the management of City Montessori School, it gives me immense pleasure to share with you great tidings because we have with us here on this wonderful occasion Mr. Rajnath Singh ji, Minister of Defense, Government of India, as our chief guest, our very own leader from Lucknow city, a leader who leads by example, a role model, a man who epitomizes dignity and determination. We also have with us Honorable tonight. We also have with us eminent legal luminaries from across the globe who have joined us to make this occasion very special. Undoubtedly, the pandemic has played havoc across the globe, but there is nothing that has stopped us at City Montessori School from hosting the 21st International Conference of the Chief Justices of the World on Article 51 of the Indian Constitution. A very warm welcome to all of you once again. We also have amidst us the first gentleman of the SISKI, which is the Council for the Indian School Certificate Examination, the Chief Executive and Secretary, Mr. Jerry Arathun, with us this evening. A very warm welcome to you, sir. We also have with him Mr. K.V. Vincent, Secretary ASISC, who has joined us this evening. Members of the management of City Montessori School, our founders, respected Dr. Jagdish Gandhi, Dr. Mrs. Bharti Gandhi, President and Managing Director, Professor Geeta Gandhi Kingdon, and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Roshan Gandhi Faruhi. We also have with us the principals of the various campuses of City Montessori School who have joined us on this virtual platform this evening on this wonderful, joyous occasion of the inaugural of the 21st International Conference of the Chief Justices of the World, along with the teachers, students, and parents of the lovely students of City Montessori School. A very, very warm welcome to each one of you once again on behalf of the City Montessori School fold and fraternity. The hosts for you tonight are, to my left, Mrs. Shipra Upadhyay, Principal, City Montessori School, Jopling Road Campus. She is my co-host this evening, and I am Mrs. Veera Hajela, Principal, City Montessori School, Station Road Campus. To my right is Dr. Vinita Kamran, a stalwart, a very senior principal, who also happens to be the secretary of this conference. Respected Dr. Vinita Kamran. So let the magic unfold, ladies and gentlemen. Hold your breaths, fasten your seatbelts, and sit back and enjoy. We'll first begin with the pre-opening activities where you will be watching certain videos up on your screens. And to begin with, we have the procession of the school bands. So here they are. We have the celebrity drummers.
Coming up on the screen are the emerald trumpets. Dressed in white, royally they march ahead.
Grandeur and splendor. Up next, the sublime euphoniums. Regal, walking tall, with poise and dignity.
Proclaiming to the world the unity of thought and action, the Metallica chanters.
Did you see the sway there, ladies and gentlemen? Wonderful, beautiful indeed. The royal buglers in royal blue with the bugles playing in unison.
And there we have the reverberating celebrity drummers. Their drum beats resonate across the globe tonight.
Immortal trombones. Marching together, celebrating the spirit of unity.
And the royal purple color, imperial buglers.
Metallica bagpipe. What a beauty this is. The magic of melody and rhythm. Music, the strongest form of magic, ladies and gentlemen. Let's watch a few videos and let's walk down the memory lane. For those of you, ladies and gentlemen, who have been a part of the International Conference of the Chief Justices of the World in the previous years, it'll be kind of recapitulation of whatever transpired in the years that have gone by. The video's up next for all of us to celebrate our togetherness.
If world leaders can learn from the current situation and national governments agree to enforce international laws against war, crimes against humanity, destruction of the environment and livelihoods, climate change, the spread of diseases and resulting pandemics, we can still build a safe and healthy future. City Montessori School, the winner of the UNESCO Prize for Peace Education in 2002, through its curriculum of education since the turn of the century, has been convening the international conferences of Chief Justices of the world that aims to unite the world for children through enforceable international law and effective global governance. To hold discussions, share concerns, and to build consensus for world unity and peace, insofar 1,299 honorable Chief Justices, judges, and heads of states from 136 countries have participated in the past 20 conferences. Having appointed itself as the custodian of the welfare of world's children, City Montessori School believes that any discussion about the future of the world must also involve the generality of humankinds.
I had the proud privilege of welcoming you to the first session of this very important international conference of the Chief Justices of the world.
This discussion is so important that it cannot be confined to leaders, be they in government, business, the academic community, religion, or organizations of civil society.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is very good that you congregate to celebrate the diversity of the world. We pray for the happiness of all. We pray for the development of all.
The global governance institutions and structures do exist, but their writ and mandate have been severely undermined. The United Nations was born out of the common aspirations of all the people of the world for peace 75 years ago. Today, the people of the world aspire for better climate, human rights, better health, education, employment, and lesser income inequalities.
I appeal to everybody. Do not busy yourself only in your own concerns or the concerns of your countries alone. Let your thoughts be fixed upon that which will rehabilitate the fortunes of mankind and sanctify the hearts and souls of men.
Nations are losing faith in the established systems of global governance and its institutions. CMS endorses the urgent need of an enforceable international law whose time has come. Although our world faces many problems, there is an awkward consciousness that the future of humanity is more interconnected than ever before. There is a universal realization that we are ultimately one human family and that our collective welfare and well-being depends upon us.
This is not the first time Dr. Gandhi is holding a meeting of this kind. He seems to have struck the right chord in talking about issues in which globally there's unanimity, in which globally no country can sound differently.
Hopefully, a global consensus is now being reached with world leaders, national governments, civil society, supporting and endorsing the need for reform of the existing structures of global governance, giving due importance to the protection of environment and climate justice, engaging in efforts to tackle race, religious, and gender prejudices across societies and cultures, and, importantly, accepting the crucial role of global citizenship education in building a culture of peace, harmony, and unity in the world.
हमारे देश की संस्कृति और सभ्यता वसुधैव कुटुंबकम की रही है, जिसमें संपूर्ण पृथ्वी को अपना घर तथा समस्त मानव जाति को परिवार का एक सदस्य माना है। ऐसे में हमारा एक नैतिक कर्तव्य बनता है कि हम सारे विश्व की सारी मानव जाति की भलाई के लिए काम करें।
City Montessori School has a profound vision of empowering its students to become protagonists of a dual process of individual and societal transformation via their engagements with the affairs of the age and through global citizenship education.
First of all, I would like to congratulate and thank the organizers, the CMS school, the staff, the students, for the spectacular welcome program they organized on the international fora and for the international luminary fora.
Conference is a great achievement in itself.
Nelson Mandela says, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. If you want to change the world, the only way is to change the school and change the teachers and go to the school.
CMS believes that at a certain moment in human history, education must also act as a powerful instrument of profound social transformation, and that moment has now arrived.
Really feel that we will have some outcomes from the deliberations that you will have over the next few days, which will give a great message to the rest of the world about the significance and seriousness of this very important subject that you're going to deliberate on.
It is with this background that school has been holding annual international conferences of Chief Justices of the world. We believe that the judges, with their commitment to justice, impartiality, and regard to universal values and law, are highly esteemed and trusted by all sections of society, and therefore their well-considered, impartial views in the matter will have a high impact. The theme for the 21st International Conference of the Chief Justices of the World, which is organized virtually by City Montessori School on global governance, a post-COVID imperative, will hopefully seek to prepare a roadmap for the world's leadership.
May the Lord keep this love always burning forever and ever, forever and ever, forever and
अंधकार को क्यों धिक्कारे, आओ ज्ञान का दीप जलाए।
अंधकार को क्यों धिक्कारे, आओ ज्ञान का दीप जलाएं। अंधकार को क्यों धिक्कारे, आओ ज्ञान का दीप जलाएं।
We welcome all the participants who have joined recently and watched.
Over 100,000 people stood up and signed an appeal for CMS students, as Dr. Gandhi wrote to Dr. Kofi Annan, the then Secretary General of United Nations, on September the 1st, 1999. Dr. Jagdish Gandhi, borrowing from Ian Tinbergen, the Nobel laureate, emphasized upon the urgent need for a world government, pointing out the importance of arbitration to solve international disputes as enshrined in Article 51 of the Constitution of India. October 24th saw Dr. Kofi Annan respond to Dr. Gandhi, suggesting to take the matter forward with the world leaders. When the vision of an educationist encompasses learning beyond material and human, crossing into the realms of divine, colossal structures come up for the society to witness, applaud, and learn from. Clock back to year 2000, and we see a spiritually motivated, avid educationist, Dr. Jagdish Gandhi, founder manager of City Montessori School, while attending the UN Millennium Forum, along with 2,000 NGOs, proposed the inclusion of the clause for a new international economic and political world order on democratic lines in the UN Millennium Summit agenda, which was unanimously approved. Annihilated Dr. Gandhi as the self-proclaimed custodian of world's children, then decided on behalf of CMS students to reach out to the heads of participating states seeking support for his agenda at the Millennium Summit. This was pertinent to ensure for the child populace born and yet to be born their right to a safe future. CMS received letters of support from many world leaders, including the Prime Ministers of India, Australia, New Zealand, the President of Slovakia, and leaders of some other countries. It didn't cut much ice at the summit, however. Not someone to lose heart, Dr. Gandhi, guided by his divine orientation, working in true spirit of service to ensure global peace and prosperity, pinned his hopes on the judiciary and convened a roundtable conference on 14th January 2001. Encouraged by the support of the judicial fraternity, Dr. Gandhi then convened a national-level seminar on 25th February 2001. This was inaugurated by Honorable Mr. Justice R.S. Pathak, a former Chief Justice of India, former Judge, International Court of Justice, Member, Permanent Court of Arbitration, The Hague, and Honorary Member of the Bench, Grays in London. Many other distinguished judges also participated. This led to the first international conference on Article 51 of the Constitution of India, held on 6th May 2001. The conference was inaugurated by Honorable Mr. Justice K.T. Thomas, Judge Supreme Court of India. Many other eminent judges and legal luminaries also participated. This further sped up the movement for compelling sovereignties to give up their right to wage war for the sake of the children's future, which could lead to the elimination of large stockpiles of nuclear armaments and also globally coordinated ecological and environmental conservation. Setting the ball rolling for a series of annual conferences growing bigger and better by each passing year. CMS, as the lighthouse of the society, has been relentlessly working at building global public opinion in favor of enactment of world laws by a duly constituted world parliament, with the world judiciary enthusiastically supporting this initiative for 20 long years. So far, 1,299 chief justices, judges, and also heads of states and heads of governments from 136 out of 193 UN member countries have participated in various conferences, and many of them repeatedly. Clock forward to year 2020, and we see City Montessori School with its more than 56,000 students, all set to kickstart the 21st Conference of Chief Justices of the World online. World's 2.5 billion children born and yet to be born being the concern as the common denominator for all the countries taken together. With the theme Global Governance Now, a post COVID imperative, through the 21st conference, CMS seeks to convey the urgency to strengthen our political structures, to enforce international laws against war, crime against humanity, destruction of environment and livelihood, and spread of diseases. More recently, the pandemic having highlighted the need for multilateralism even more. To quote Antonio Guterres, the ninth Secretary General of United Nations, now is the time for unity, for the international community to work in solidarity. The world sits up and takes note as the 21st Conference of Chief Justices of the World seeks to prepare a roadmap for the world's leadership to establish, reform, and further develop the global governance structures, largely drawing from Article 51 of the Constitution of India. The judicial fraternity salutes the spirit of CMS students in their global citizenship role and nearly 100 people of great eminence from more than 60 countries agree to show up in sheer unanimity, even in the wake of COVID-19. The most prominent of the members of the executive, viz. Ministers of State and Center and other important people, to confirm their presence to bless the endeavor starting 6th of November and to continue till November the 9th, 2020, with education truly acting as a powerful instrument of profound social change.
Ladies and gentlemen, we
2
once again
decades have
welcome
passed,
all of you for this
ladies and
online
gentlemen,
conference.
and we've been in it together, striving for world laws and enforcement of the same by a governance and post-COVID imperative. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I extend a very warm welcome to all of you on this wonderful occasion of the 21st International Conference of the Chief Justices of the World, proclaiming, striving, and pledging to give our children today and the children of tomorrow, yet to be born, a safe, united, healthy world, free and devoid of war and atrocity, terrorism and turbulence. Thank you very much, and time now for us to set the ball rolling, to set the tone, to invoke the blessings of the Almighty. But we shall first begin with the national song with a pronounced patriotic flavor and move on with the school prayer to invoke the blessings of the Almighty for setting the tone of our conference. For this, I urge you and request you to rise wherever you are, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to the teachers of City Montessori School, Kanpur Road campus, for that soulful and melodious rendition of the school prayer, not to forget the passionate patriotism reflected in the rendition of the national song. Thank you once again, teachers. Time now for me to invite the visionary, the man himself, Dr. Jagdish Gandhi, who conceptualized the concept of a conference of this stature 21 years ago, the International Conference of the Chief Justices of the World. Dr. Jagdish Gandhi, founder manager of City Montessori School and convener of the conference. I request you, sir, to introduce and welcome our chief guest this evening, Honorable Mr. Rajnath Singh Ji, Minister of Defense, Government of India, and also Honorable Mrs. Sanyukta Bhatia Ji, Mayor of Lucknow, who is presiding over the proceedings of this conference. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Jagdish Gandhi.
It is our proud privilege to welcome our most honorable chief guest, Honorable Shri Rajnath Singh Ji, the Defense Minister of India. Simple and unassuming, with immense love for the humanity, he believes in the philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Mr. Rajnath Singh became the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh in the year 2000. During his tenure as Chief Minister, he made efforts to rationalize the reservation structure in the government jobs by introducing the most backward classes among the other backward classes and scheduled castes, so that the benefit of reservation could reach the lower strata of the society. In the year 2003, Honorable Shri Rajnath Singh was appointed as the Minister of Agriculture and Food Processing in the Government of India, led by Honorable Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the then Prime Minister of India. His popularity among the masses can be gauged from the fact that Honorable Shri Rajnath Singh, when he was the President of the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party, achieved a historic victory in the 2014 Lok Sabha MP elections with complete majority in the Parliament House. He was also elected as member of the Parliament from Lucknow constituency and was chosen to serve the country in the distinguished capacity as the Home Minister of India. And again, in 2019, he was once again elected as a member of the Parliament from Lucknow and was chosen to serve the Defense Minister of India. We are honored to have Honorable Shri Rajnath Singh Ji, the beloved Defense Minister of India, as our chief guest today. We are equally honored to welcome Honorable Srimati Sanyukta Bhatia, the Lord Mayor of Lucknow, our most honored guest of honor. Sanyukta Bhatia is the Mayor of Lucknow. Born on 19th of October 1947 in Basti, Uttar Pradesh, Srimati Bhatia is an Indian politician who is the first woman to be elected as the Mayor of Lucknow. She is graduated and has received social service education. Her husband, late Shri Satish Bhatia Ji, was elected as a member of the Legislative Assembly from Lucknow, Kent, 2 times. She has always supported the public interest work done by her husband. Honorable Srimati Sanyukta Bhatia is presently performing various social and political institutions. She was also nominated as a member of the Uttar Pradesh State Commission for Women and is a member of the Bharatiya Janata Party's National Executive. Mahila Morcha, member of the State Working Committee Uttar Pradesh, Sanskar Bharati, Regional Women Head of Eastern Uttar Pradesh Region, Deen Dayal Seva Sansthan, National President of the Women's Charge. It is our privilege to have our Lord Mayor, the most popular Lord Mayor of Lucknow, Srimati Sanyukta Bhatia, here today on this occasion as our guest of honor, who is going to present the key to the city of Lucknow to the President of Trinidad and Tobago on behalf of citizens of Lucknow.
For doing the honors of introducing our chief guest tonight, Shri Rajnath Singh Ji, Honorable Defense Minister of our country. Also introducing the Mayor of the city of Lucknow, Srimati Sanyukta Bhatia Ji, who will be presiding, or rather is presiding, over the proceedings of the inaugural function of the 21st International Conference of the Chief Justices of the World. Thank you very much, sir, once again. Religion, ladies and gentlemen. God made man
and man made religion to suit his own convenience of need and greed. The discrepancies which were exploited time and again, misconstrued and misunderstood, unfortunately. Let us today find a definition for ourselves in the true meaning of religion and the sanctity it entails. Religion is merely a way of life, ladies and gentlemen. The world is my country, mankind my brethren, and to do good is my religion. When I do good, I feel good. When I do bad, I feel bad. And that is my religion. My place of worship is my heart alone, and my deeds of kindness is my religion. To endorse this very concept through a beautiful presentation of the all religion prayer, it's over to the teachers of City Montessori School, Kanpur campus, yet again. Sit back, enjoy, dwell, and mull over the true essence of religion and the very integrity and solidarity which we need to inculcate in ourselves by way of sentiment and ethos. Over to the teachers of City Montessori School, Kanpur Road campus, for the all religion prayer, ladies and gentlemen.
जब सबकी एक है धरती और सबका एक गगन, फिर काहे को फिरता कोई काम में मगन, कोई काम में मगन। सब धर्मों का सभी जगह हो सुंदर एक भवन, जिसके प्रांगण में हो एकता शांति और अमन। हृदय एक हो सबके, एक हो सबकी भावना, मिलके करे सब प्रार्थना, तब आएगी सद्भावना। मिलके करे सब प्रार्थना, तब आएगी सद्भावना। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे। जीसस, माय जीसस, ईश्वर के सिवा कोई और है क्या जो एकं शरणं गच्छामि, धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि, संघं शरणं गच्छामि। आसमां की छत पे है अपनी दुनिया, खिलखिलाती जिसमें है अपनी खुशियाँ। चांद की छलनी लिए तारे चुनते हैं हम, जादुई है ये जहां, है नहीं कोई गम। बंदे हैं हम उसके, हम पे किसका जोर। उम्मीदों के सूरज निकले चारों ओर, इरादे हैं फौलादी, हिम्मती हर कदम, अपने हाथों किस्मत लिख ले, आज चले हैं हम। आसमां की छत पे है अपनी दुनिया, खिलखिलाती जिसमें है अपनी खुशियाँ। सूरज की पलकों तले धूप
Such a profound proclamation of the unity of humankind. The manifestations of God as and when they were sent by our Creator created for us this beautiful world. They taught us about unity, about peace, about having love for everybody in the heart. And that was the message given by all the manifestations that came. In that sense, they were universal in their appeal and in their reach. It was only the social landscape that changed. But we got caught up in the social miasma and we lost our way. But I believe today the teachers of City Montessori School, Kanpur Road campus have reminded us that we are in true spirit one. And we are fearless because we are the children of God. And with that note, I call upon the fearless leader of this particular campus of the City Montessori group, the leader who has, over the years, hosted this beautiful conference again and again. She has put all her energy into planning and perfect execution of all that planning. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you the senior principal of City Montessori School, Kanpur Road campus, Dr. Vinita Kamran, in all her dynamism.
Most Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Rajnath Singh Ji, Defence Minister, Government of India, Honorable Mrs. Sanyukta Bhatia, Mayor of Lucknow, His Excellency Mr. Anthony Thomas, 5th President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Honorable Mr. Jerry Erathun, Chief Executive and Secretary of the Council for the Indian School Certificate Examination, Honorable Mr. K.V. Vincent, Secretary, ASISC, various heads of states, esteemed judges of Supreme Courts of the world, legal luminaries, honorable members of World Peace Organizations, distinguished guests, principals, teachers, parents, and my dear students. It is my proud privilege to extend a warm welcome to you all on behalf of City Montessori School to the 21st International Conference of the Chief Justices of the World. It is a momentous occasion as we have braved to assemble here for the noble cause, even when the whole world is suffering from the global pandemic. It was indeed a very challenging task to organize the event online, but your overwhelming response, support from 60 countries across the world turned this dream into a reality and could make the impossible happen. Ladies and gentlemen, we at City Montessori School believe that school should be a lighthouse to the society and must concern itself with the affairs of the age. Therefore, CMS, as the self-appointed custodian of the welfare of the 2 billion children born and yet to be born, has taken upon the challenge to safeguard the lives of the future generations under the guidance of great luminaries and visionaries like you. I can see that the day is not far away when these efforts for universal brotherhood and yearning for peace and unity will become a reality and show light to many across the world. Dear delegates, here I shall take this opportunity to mention that this all has been possible due to the vision of our founder manager, Dr. Jagdish Gandhi, our founder director, Dr. Mrs. Bharti Gandhi, and Professor Dr. Geeta Gandhi Kingdon, President and Managing Director of CMS. They have dedicated themselves to the service of mankind and have striven relentlessly for their vision of a united world, which is free from the narrow confines of caste, creed, and geographical boundaries, a world which is free of war, its fear, and devastations. They have always propagated that it is our children who can change the world, and for this they have to be prepared from now only. Undoubtedly, the legendary couple are the heart and soul of the organization. But Honorable Dr. Geeta Gandhi and Mr. Roshan Gandhi Faruhi, our Chief Executive Officer, are carrying forward their legacy in a very meaningful and dignified manner. I also want to thank here respected Mrs. Sushmita Basu, Superior Principal and Head Quality Assurance and Innovation Department, who is the life support of City Montessori School. I also want to thank a great visionary, Mr. Ratan Chand Gupta, General Secretary of the conference, and also all the very strong and committed principals of CMS who are the true stalwarts. I also want to thank all the members of the Viewpit team, especially Mr. Sandeep Shrivastava, Mr. Anirudh Singh, and Mr. Shishi Shrivastava for their sincere and untiring efforts and for the extraordinary zeal and exuberance with which they have worked amidst all challenges, trials, and tribulations of the present times. I will be failing in my duty if I don't thank Mr. R.K. Singh and his entire team of Multimedia Department and Films Division for their flawless technical support today. Once again, on the behalf of 53,000 children and staff members of CMS, I extend a hearty welcome to our most honorable Shri Rajnath Singh Ji, Defense Minister, Government of India, who is the true son of Indian soil. He has devoted his entire life to the service of the nation and progress of the country and for making our country as one of the leading countries in the world. I also want to give a special thanks to Mr. Jerry Arathun because he is the leader of leaders. He's a great leader who has made many more leaders. He has shaped lives of many principals, many teachers, and many, many students across the country. I also welcome other distinguished guests to the inaugural function of the conference. And ladies and gentlemen, soon you are going to watch the most scintillating performance of the teachers of CMS who have worked extremely hard to give you a great experience and make this event a memorable one. Thank you and Jai Jagat.
Thank you, Dr. Kamran, for rendering your thanks and that beautiful welcome to all our delegates. I know a lot of people have worked very hard behind the scenes to make this dream a reality, as you said. And if you have missed out on anybody, I think it's just due to the paucity of time. You thank them from the bottom of your hearts for making this a truly mesmerizing event this evening. And of course, as you welcomed our legendary chief guest, Honorable Shri Rajnath Singh Ji, the Defense Minister of India, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to you, sir, as we present before you a very promising and welcoming song and dance sequence in your honor, welcoming you to this virtual platform. And again, the enactment is by the teachers of City Montessori School, Kanpur Road campus.
इस समारोह के मुख्य अतिथि देश के यशस्वी रक्षा मंत्री माननीय श्री राजनाथ सिंह जी का हम हार्दिक स्वागत और अभिनंदन करते हैं। राजनाथ जी एक लोकप्रिय जननायक, कुशल संगठनकर्ता और प्रखर वक्ता हैं। आप विलक्षण संगठनकर्ता हैं। वर्ष 2000 में आपको उत्तर प्रदेश का मुख्यमंत्री नियुक्त किया गया। इस दौरान आपने सरकारी सेवाओं में आरक्षण का लाभ अन्य पिछड़े वर्ग और अनुसूचित जाति के सर्वाधिक जरूरतमंद लोगों को पहुंचाने के लिए सार्थक प्रयास किए। श्री अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी की सरकार में श्री राजनाथ सिंह ने भूतल परिवहन, कृषि और खाद्य प्रसंस्करण जैसे महत्वपूर्ण विभागों का दायित्व संभाला। श्री राजनाथ जी लोकसभा में लखनऊ का लगातार दूसरी बार प्रतिनिधित्व कर रहे हैं। केंद्रीय गृह मंत्री के रूप में आपने आतंकवाद और नक्सलवाद पर नियंत्रण पाने में महत्वपूर्ण सफलता हासिल की। रक्षा मंत्री के रूप में आपने सेना का मनोबल बढ़ाया है और रक्षा सामग्री के उत्पादन में मेक इन इंडिया योजना को प्रभावी ढंग से लागू किया है। आप जैसे कुशल प्रशासक और लोकप्रिय राजनेता का हम पुनः हार्दिक अभिनंदन करते हैं।
आयो रे आयो रे आयो रे, आज ये शुभ दिन आयो रे। छायो रे छायो रे छायो रे, हृदय में आनंद छायो रे। मानवता की बूटी आप है, अनुपम काम किए हैं। कठिन परिश्रम और लगन से निर्णय सदा लिए हैं। भावन आयो रे आयो रे आयो रे आयो रे आज शुभ दिन आयो रे आज शुभ दिन आयो रे आज शुभ दिन आयो रे.
It truly is a blessed day for us, sir, that you are here with us on this virtual platform, along with so many legal luminaries and so many dignitaries who are watching this program live. And of course, the wonderful children and parents and teachers of the City Montessori group, that we have this opportunity to interact with people across the globe has made me think that can we really consider unity to be an elusive element out of the reach of the people of this world? I don't think so. I believe that unity is within our grasp, and this virtual platform is a living example of that belief. And I think that belief will be reiterated as you watch this World Unity Prayer, beautifully presented by the teachers of the City Montessori School, Kanpur Road campus, as they express their faith in the human spirit, conquering all challenges and coming together to take this ever-advancing civilization forward.
Article 51C of the Indian Constitution states that, I quote, "The state shall endeavor to promote international peace and security, maintain just and honorable relations between nations, foster respect for international law, and encourage settlement of international disputes by arbitration." I unquote.
I am an empowered and conscious world citizen. I have emerged from the City Montessori School philosophy of Jai Jagat and Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. I epitomize love, harmony, universal brotherhood, tolerance, empathy, and compassion. May unity prevail in all the countries of the world.
South America is a bouquet of exceptional educational institutions, colorful carnivals, exciting football matches, and the mesmerizing moves of the samba. May unity prevail on earth. I pray for the people of South America. May unity prevail in South America.
We are the land of red Indians and the ancient Mayan civilization. Today, our world's famous learning centers are the fountainheads of peace and unity. May unity prevail on earth. I pray for the people of North America. May unity prevail in North America.
With the revolutionary thoughts of great thinkers, Europe emerged from the Dark Ages crowned with liberty, equality, and fraternity. We give the world some of its greatest teachers and excellent seats of learning. May unity prevail on earth. I pray for the people of Europe. May unity prevail in Europe.
Australia today is an amalgamation of cultures and communities from all over the world. The education imparted at the world famous seats of learning is unparalleled. May unity prevail on earth. I pray for the people of Australia. May unity prevail in Australia.
After a series of explorations, Africa emerged from darkness to light as a continent rich in culture and traditions. May unity prevail on earth. I pray for the people of Africa. May unity prevail in Africa.
Bright colors of culture and the beauty of multifarious religions and faiths coexisting. Asia as a whole is a voracious example of peace. May unity prevail on earth. I pray for the people of Asia. May unity prevail in Asia.
Meaningful education can make us realize our ethical obligation towards our pluralistic societies. Let us salute the missionary zeal, the altruistic vision, and the innovative ideas of the founders of City Montessori School, who dreamt of unifying the world with the help of holistic education. May unity prevail on earth. I pray for all the continents of the world. May unity prevail on earth. May unity prevail on earth. May unity prevail on earth.
चाहत है सुकून की तो मन में अमन तो रखना, राहत है दूर भी तो मन में अमन तो रखना। कस्तूरी जो महके मृग बहके पर वो ना जाने, दुनिया में जो ढूंढे है उसके अंदर ही ठिकाने। बदलाव जो चाहे तू वो खुद ही तू बनना, मन में अमन तू रखना। हर एक जो रास्ता है तुझसे वाबस्ता है, जाने क्यों मंजिलों को पाने को तू तरसता है। चले तू ढल तू अपने ख्वाबों के रंग में, कल तू बदल तू आज को ले अपने संग में। कस्तूरी जो महके मृग बहके पर वो ना जाने, दुनिया में जो ढूंढे है उसके अंदर ही ठिकाने। बदलाव जो चाहे तू वो खुद ही तू बनना, मन में अमन तू रखना। चाहत है सुकून की तो मन में अमन तू रखना, राहत है दूर भी तो मन में अमन तू रखना।
wipe our tears and unite to overcome our fears. Let's sing a symphony, having love, peace and harmony. Let there be unity on earth. Let there be unity on earth. Let there be unity on earth. Forever and ever to be. Forever and ever to be. Forever and ever to be.
It's amazing, ladies and gentlemen. And I know you're putting your hands together and clapping and lauding the spirit behind the World Unity Prayer, so beautifully presented by the teachers of City Montessori School, Kanpur Road campus. So strong is the light of unity that it can illuminate the whole earth, said Baha'u'llah. I offer you peace. I offer you love. I offer you friendship. I see your beauty. I hear your need. I feel your feelings. My wisdom flows from the highest source, and I salute that source in you. Let us all together, ladies and gentlemen, work for unity and love and take this pledge here and now, tonight. We are only as strong as we are united, common knowledge, and as weak as we are divided. And the beauty is, or rather the essence of the beautiful is unity in variety, in diversity. Up next on your screens, ladies and gentlemen, is a beautiful choreography on unity and in diversity. And let me not spill the beans here again and spoil the fun. There is a surprise package in there. So sit back and enjoy. Unity in diversity. Ladies and gentlemen.
जयतु जयतु भारतम जयतु जयतु भारतम विश्व प्रेम की ओर चदरिया जगा हुआ भारत विश्व प्रेम की ओढ़ चदरिया विश्व प्रेम की ओढ़ चदरिया सच्चे सुर में गाता है एक सुरीली आशा लेकर सूरज नए उगाता है एक सुरीली आशा लेकर सूरज नए उगाता है विश्व प्रेम चादर ढेके शुद्ध शूरे गानाए सिंधमिवानिल पुदिय पुल्विडियल आयमाधवन तोड़िडुदे विश्व प्रेमाची ओढुल चादर खऱ्या सुरांनी गाता एक सुरीली आशा लईने सूरज नवो उगाडे छे जागा हुआ भारत है ये 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 जय तु भारत जय तु भारत वसुधैव कुटुम्बकं भारतं जयतु जयतु भारतं हो जाएंगे नई राहें लिख देंगे आशाएं श्वास मेरी प्राण मेरा तू ही मेरा मन बस तू ही है प्रेम मेरा पहला और प्रथम कर्मधात्री जन्मधात्री कई मानवणु धारकों से अंकितमौता सुर अनेक स्वर अनेक एक है धड़कन शब्द सारे भाव सारे हैं तुझे अर्पण सुर बतेरे कोई धड़कन भक्त मोर श्रद्धा मोर तू मत अर्पण प्रेम का मृदंग रंग एकता का तू युगों युगों से एक छंद साधना का तू ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಣ್ಣ ಸೇರಿ ಮಿಡಿವ ಪ್ರೇಮ ನಾದನಿ ಯುಗ ಯುಗಗಳ ಸಾಧನೆಯ ಶಿಖರ ನಾದನಿ तेरी शान तू महान ज्योति तू किरण पवन पवन गगन गगन करे तुझे नमन अभिमान माडुनी गड़ा बिळतुनी लिवार कोवि निंदे मुल्य कुंबिडुनिदा जागर हमार भारत है जागे उठो भारत सजो आज जागृत आम भारत
Gari India, Bagay Pito. Jai Bharatam, Jai Bharatam. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam Bharatam. Jai Bharatam, Jai Bharatam. Jai Bharatam. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam Bharatam. Jai Bharatam. Uttara Nyai Nyai Vattu Likhne sa Aashaएं Tamso ma ज्योतिर्गमय अंधकार को जीते मन यही प्रार्थना करता भारत विजयी भव मानव जीवन विश्व प्रेम की ओर चल विश्व प्रेम की ओर चलरिया जय भारत
Jayatu Bharatam. I know, I believe, each of you in every corner of the globe is celebrating the spirit of diversity, so beautifully portrayed. Vishwa Prem ki Or Chadariya. सचमुच भारत वो देश है जो विश्व प्रेम की चादर ओढ़कर आगे बढ़ रहा है उस चादर में हर को आलिंगनबद्ध करने के लिए. And I think this mesmerizing performance, this proclamation of unity by the teachers of City Montessori School, Kanpur Road campus actually deserves a standing ovation. Thank you, teachers. We believe that yes, India shall lead the way and will take the world along. And yes, we believe in this because we have dynamic leaders. You just saw the leaders of the City Montessori School family there on the stage performing along with all the teachers. And they have been in turn inspired by the leaders who are there on the central stage of the Indian democracy who lead by example. And we are so fortunate that we have such a leader with us today. बहुत बहुत स्वागत है हमारे उस मेधावी नेता का जो आज हमारे साथ इस मंच पर उपस्थित हैं. ऑनरेबल श्री राजनाथ जी जो हमारे बीच आज यहाँ पर इस वर्चुअल प्लेटफॉर्म पर अपना संदेश दुनिया के कोने कोने से आए जुटे इन विधिक लोगों को देना चाहते हैं, बताना चाहते हैं कि कैसे भारत आने वाले समय में एक नया प्रपत्र लिखेगा जो प्रपत्र एकता की स्याही से रचा जाएगा. So I welcome our most honorable minister, Defense Minister of India, Shri Rajnath Singh ji.
भारतीय संविधान के अनुच्छेद 51 पर आयोजित ये 21st अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सम्मेलन में पधारे गणमान्य अतिथिगण, 63 अन्य देशों से पधारे 102 स्पीकर्स, मौजूदा मंत्रीगण, मुख्य न्यायाधीशों, न्यायाधीशों, कानूनविदों एवं विश्व शांति संस्थाओं के प्रतिनिधियों का मैं हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं. साथ ही मैं इस अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सम्मेलन के आयोजन हेतु इस अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सम्मेलन के संयोजक एवं सिटी मॉन्टेसरी स्कूल के संस्थापक प्रबंधक डॉक्टर जगदीश गांधी को हार्दिक बधाई देता हूं कि उन्होंने भारत के साथ दुनिया भर के बच्चों के भविष्य को सुरक्षित बनाने के लिए आप सभी को एक मंच पर इकट्ठा होने का अवसर प्रदान किया है. हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने संयुक्त राष्ट्र संघ महासभा के 75वें अधिवेशन में विश्व के नेताओं को संबोधित करते हुए कहा था कि भारत ने हमेशा से ही दुनिया को सद्भावना और शांति का संदेश दिया है। यह बात वर्ष 1893 में विवेकानंद के शिकागो में पार्लियामेंट ऑफ वर्ल्ड रिलीजन में दिए गए ऐतिहासिक संबोधन की भावना के अनुरूप ही है। भारत की विदेश नीति हमेशा से ही मित्रता एवं सहयोग की रही है और हमारे प्रधानमंत्री के नेतृत्व में हमने हमेशा शांति स्थापना पर ही बल दिया है और हमारी भारतीय संस्कृति वसुधैव कुटुंबकम के उच्च आदर्श पर आधारित है और यही व्यापक सोच हमारे संविधान के अनुच्छेद 51 में निहित है। सिटी मॉन्टेसरी स्कूल की पहल पर भारत के संविधान के अनुच्छेद 51 की भावना के अनुरूप सारे विश्व में एकता, शांति और मानवता की भलाई करने एवं संसार के बच्चों के भविष्य को सुरक्षित बनाने का जो बीड़ा आप सभी ने उठाया है, उसकी मैं भूरी भूरी प्रशंसा करता हूं। वास्तव में हमारे देश की संस्कृति एवं सभ्यता ही वसुधैव कुटुंबकम की रही है, जिसमें हम संपूर्ण पृथ्वी को अपना घर और इसकी समस्त मानव जाति को अपने परिवार का सदस्य मानते हैं। यहां से यह संदेश पूरी दुनिया में गया है। ऐसे में हमारा यह नैतिक कर्तव्य भी बनता है कि हम विश्व की सारी मानव जाति की भलाई के लिए काम करें। मेरा मानना है कि विश्व के 2.5 अरब बच्चों का भविष्य सुरक्षित करना हमारी पहली प्राथमिकता होनी चाहिए और इस लक्ष्य की प्राप्ति के लिए प्रभावशाली अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कानून व्यवस्था सबसे सशक्त माध्यम है, जिसका रास्ता भारतीय संविधान के अनुच्छेद 51 से निकलता है, क्योंकि भारतीय संविधान के अनुच्छेद 51 की भावना को आत्मसात करके ही विश्व संसद, विश्व सरकार व प्रभावशाली अंतर्राष्ट्रीय न्यायालय का गठन संभव है। मैं यह उम्मीद करता हूं कि वह दिन जल्द ही आए जब विश्व में एक नई व्यवस्था बनेगी और विश्व में एकता, शांति व न्याय का राज कायम होगा। मेरा पूर्ण विश्वास है कि इस पुनीत कार्य के लिए आयोजित किए जाने वाला यह अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सम्मेलन वरदान साबित होगा। मैं विश्व भर के बच्चों के साथ ही आगे आने वाली पीढ़ी को एक सुंदर एवं सुरक्षित भविष्य प्रदान करने के लिए आयोजित किए जाने वाले इस अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सम्मेलन की अभूतपूर्व सफलता की कामना करता हूं। मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि आने वाले समय में एक नई विश्व व्यवस्था के निर्माण में यह अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सम्मेलन अपनी महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाएगा। आप सभी को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद एवं मेरी हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं।
It is my proud privilege, ladies and gentlemen, to share with you the translated version of the Honorable Chief Guest of ours this evening, Honorable Shri Rajnath Singh Ji, Defense Minister of India, his speech in English with you. Honorable Ministers, eminent dignitaries, and nearly 102 Honorable Chief Justices, judges, and eminent dignitaries from 63 countries of the world, I'm very happy to welcome you to this very significant and extremely important gathering of the world judiciary who have come together upon the call of the more than 2.5 billion children of the world and the generations yet to be born. I want to begin with the assurance that we in India, despite being the world's second most populous country and also one of the world's strongest, have always chosen the path of peace and responsibility. It is because our culture is the high ideals of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam and Jai Jagat, which means that we consider the entire world as one family and every human being as its citizen. This broad thought is also enshrined in Article 51 of the Indian Constitution, which states that the state shall endeavor, A, to promote international peace and security, B, to maintain just and honorable relations between nations, C, to foster respect for international law, D, to encourage settlement of international disputes by arbitration. I'm sure that City Montessori School will lead its students to change the world for a better and more secure future for all. We, the leaders of India, are with the students in this endeavor, and I sincerely hope that all the heads of state, heads of governments, chief justices, and judges assembled here extend their fullest support to the cause of world unity, peace, and happiness taken up by the children of City Montessori School. I'm immensely glad that City Montessori School is not only taking out a campaign of world unity for the safe future of children of CMS or even of India, but it is fighting for the safe future of all the children of the world. I congratulate Dr. Jagdish Gandhi, Dr. Bharti Gandhi, and Professor Geeta Gandhi Kingdon for continuously striving towards making the world safe for the present and future generations. I wish you all a very fruitful conference and hope that your deliberations will bring the change that we want to see in the world. We hope you will carry back the message of unity and peace to your countries and continue to extend your support to this effort. Jai Hind and thank you. I now invite the convener of the conference, founder manager of City Montessori School. We'll first watch a film, ladies and gentlemen, and then we'll carry forward the proceedings.
Over 100,000 people stood up and signed an appeal for CMS students as Dr. Gandhi wrote to Dr. Kofi Annan, the then Secretary General of United Nations, on September the 1st, 1999. Dr. Jagdish Gandhi, borrowing from Ian Tinbergen, the Nobel laureate, emphasized upon the urgent need for a world government, pointing out the importance of arbitration to solve international disputes as enshrined in Article 51 of the Constitution of India. October 24th saw Dr. Kofi Annan respond to Dr. Gandhi, suggesting to take the matter forward with the world leaders. When the vision of an educationist encompasses learning beyond material and human, crossing into the realms of divine, colossal structures come up for the society to witness, applaud, and learn from. Clock back to year 2000, and we see a spiritually motivated, avid educationist, Dr. Jagdish Gandhi, founder-manager of City Montessori School, while attending the UN Millennium Forum, along with 2,000 NGOs, proposed the inclusion of the clause for a new international economic and political world order on democratic lines in the UN Millennium Summit agenda, which was unanimously approved. Annihilated Dr. Gandhi as the self-proclaimed custodian of world's children, then decided on behalf of CMS students to reach out to the heads of participating states seeking support for his agenda at the received letters of support from many world leaders, including the Prime Ministers of India, Australia, New Zealand, the President of Slovakia, and leaders of some other countries. It didn't cut much ice at the summit, however. Not someone to lose heart, Dr. Gandhi, guided by his divine orientation, working in true spirit of service to ensure global peace and prosperity, pinned his hopes on the judiciary and convened a roundtable conference on 14th January 2001. Encouraged by the support of the judicial fraternity, Dr. Gandhi then convened a national-level seminar on 25th February 2001. This was inaugurated by Honorable Mr. Justice R.S. Pathak, a former Chief Justice of India, former Judge, International Court of Justice, Member, Permanent Court of Arbitration, The Hague, and Honorary Member of the Bench, Grays in London. Many other distinguished judges also participated. This led to the first international conference on Article 51 of the Constitution of India, held on 6th May 2001. The conference was inaugurated by Honorable Mr. Justice K.T. Thomas, Judge Supreme Court of India. Many other eminent judges and legal luminaries also participated. This further sped up the movement for compelling sovereignties to give up their right to wage war for the sake of the children's future, which could lead to the elimination of large stockpiles of nuclear armaments and also globally coordinated ecological and environmental conservation. Setting the ball rolling for a series of annual conferences growing bigger and better by each passing year. CMS, as the lighthouse of the society, has been relentlessly working at building global public opinion in favor of enactment of world laws by a duly constituted world parliament, with the world judiciary enthusiastically supporting this initiative for 20 long years. So far, 1,299 chief justices, judges, and also heads of states and heads of governments from 136 out of 193 UN member countries have participated in various conferences, and many of them repeatedly. Clock forward to year 2020, and we see City Montessori School with its more than 56,000 students all set to kickstart the 21st Conference of Chief Justices of the World online. World's 2.5 billion children born and yet to be born being the concern as the common denominator for all the countries taken together. With the theme,
I now invite our respected founder, manager, and convener of the conference, respected Dr. Jagdish Gandhi, to propose the vote of thanks to our chief guest, Honorable Shri Rajnath Singh Ji, Defense Minister of India. Dr. Jagdish Gandhi.
Yeah. I propose a vote of thanks, heartfelt thanks, to our most respected chief guest, Honorable Shri Rajnath Singh Ji, to spare his time out of his busy schedule and bless this gathering with his online video message to inaugurate the conference. I also welcome our most honorable Lord Mayor of Lucknow, Srimati Sanyukta Bhatia, the Mayor of Lucknow, for presiding over the function, and also who will present the key to the President of Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Honorable Mr. Justice Anthony Thomas Aquinas Carmona. I would also like to welcome many eminent delegates who are participating from around the world. Some of them, I would like to name a few of them. I cannot read names of everybody. Honorable Mr. Justice Syed Yusuf Halim, Chief Justice, Supreme Court of Afghanistan. Honorable Mr. Justice Bheki Mahapala, Chief Justice, Superior Court of Judicature at Eswatini. Honorable Mr. Justice Vincent A. D. Gaetano, Chief Justice Emirates, Malta. Honorable Justice B.J. Odoki, former Chief Justice of Supreme Court of Uganda. Honorable Mr. Justice Karl Ashok Singh, former Chancellor of the Judiciary of Guyana. Honorable Mr. Justice Adil Omar Sharif, Deputy Chief Justice, Supreme Constitutional Court of Egypt. Honorable Mr. Divino Roberto Vecimo, Organization for Environment Preservation from Brazil. I also welcome Ms. Carmen Beto Asterio, Honorable Pax Universal from Brazil. I also welcome many eminent guests from South Korea, Ms. Alice Go, Ms. James Kim, Mr. Soo Kim, Ms. Gloria Jeong, Mr. James Kim, Ms. Vinka Kim, Mr. Henny Join. I would like to brief the audience about the objective of this conference, why we started this conference. Dear friends, as you all know, that we are 7.5 billion people in this world. And out of this, 1/3, that is 2.5 billion, are the children in this world whose future has become progressively more insecure and unprotected during past 7 decades since the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and the recent spread of international terrorism, global warming, environmental degradation, stockpiling of arms and ammunition, and ever-increasing expenditure on military defense. In 1999, children of my school asked me what is going to be our future. And when I realized the future is going to be very bleak because there's so much of stockpiling of arms and ammunition. Every government on the earth is spending a lot of money on warfare and production of destruction, weapons of mass destruction. What is going to be the future in this phase? So I thought, what should I do? So then I wrote a letter to Kofi Annan. Several letters I wrote to him. And finally, I wrote a very strong letter when he replied. I wrote that you are the Secretary General of United Nations. You cannot run away from your responsibility of protecting the humanity from the scourge of war. And the world is in distress, and you cannot run away from your responsibility. And then he wrote a letter on 11th of October 1999. He said the world is beset with 3 big problems. At that time, the population of the world was 6 billion. Today, it is 7.5 billion. He wrote that out of 6 billion population of the world, 3 billion population is living in abject poverty with less than $2 a day. He wrote another problem. He said the 20th century has been most brutal and murderous, and human history, like 21st century, be more humane. And third thing he wrote was that the climate of the world seems to be changing in a way which could destroy homes and livelihood of millions and millions of people. And he wrote then that nations and regions look to the United Nations to protect them from hunger, disease, natural disasters, or the violence whenever the task seemed too big for the nations or the regions to handle alone. But we at United Nations can do nothing alone either. Our strength is the strength of our member states when they agree to act together. Then he wrote that next year, from 6 to 8 September 2000, the United Nations is going to hold the first ever biggest Millennium Summit of world leaders to discuss very eminent, very pertinent issues facing mankind. And it is up to you, the people of the United Nations. It is up to you, and then he put comma, and the people of the United Nations. That means 6 billion people of the United Nations who are the members of the United Nations. It is up to you, the people of the United Nations, to make sure your leaders come to New York for the Millennium Summit thoroughly resolved to take decisions which could lead to a better life for all of us and for our children. We at United Nations can do nothing alone either. Our strength is the strength of our member states when they agree to act together. And then he wrote that I am counting on you all. You know that he wrote that we at United Nations can do nothing alone. It is up to the leaders of the world. They should come together, thoroughly resolved to take decisions which could lead to a better life for all of us and for our children in the world. So the question is how to motivate the leaders. I made 400 copies when I was also invited by Kofi Annan to attend the Millennium Forum of NGOs and civil society organizations. We were about 1,300 people and who participated in this Millennium Forum conference. And then I realized that in 1999, there was a General Assembly of the United Nations and they passed a resolution. in which they said, okay, now the time has come for formation of one economic order and one political order of the world. So I propose this in this Millennium Forum, that since we are going to draft an agenda for the coming Millennium Summit, let us put in the agenda that there is a need for a one economic order and global order and one political order of the world. But then it was passed unanimously by the NGOs and civil society. It was a 24-page document. I brought it from America after the United Nations. This meeting was over. I brought it from the UNO. And I sent it to all the prime ministers and presidents. Okay, next year, you will be attending the Millennium Summit of World Leaders from 6 to 8 September 2000. And you should all realize the need for protecting the children of the world, whose future has become progressively more insecure and unprotected during past 7 decades. I received letters from the Prime Minister of India, Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Prime Minister of Australia, and President of Slovakia. And other letters were just like this, that we have referred your letter to the Law Ministry, we have referred your letter to the President's Secretariat, Prime Minister's Secretariat, that was all. And I realized that nothing is going to happen. And the Millennium Summit happened. And there was no decision on this issue of forming one economic order and one political order of the world. So there was no discussion. Then I realized that we should approach the chief justices of the world so that they are very close to the leadership, and they can approach that our children demand a justice. Their future has become progressively insecure and unprotected. They want to protect the future. It is the responsibility of the judiciary to give justice even to those who could not come to their court. This is their power. It is in their power to give justice not only to those who come to the court, but those who cannot come to the court, but they require justice, they must give that justice to those also. Children cannot come to the court, but they require the justice that their future should be protected, their future should become secure. So that is, on the premise of this, I realized that we should approach the chief justices of the world. Although I was discouraged by many people saying that you are not a judge, you are not a lawyer, how come you are inviting a chief justice conference? I said, I am a concerned person. I am a concerned teacher. I believe that future of my children and the children of the world has become progressively more insecure. So I want justice. And for that justice, I am approaching the judiciary, world judiciary. And I realize the united world judiciary will, the power of the voice of the united world judiciary will have some weight on these leadership. And some leaders might come forward. There has been some leaders in the world which have changed the face of this world. For example, after the First World War, Woodrow Wilson, the President of America, called a meeting of the world leaders, and because of that what was the organization? Woodrow Wilson League of Nations came into being, because of which the First World War was stopped for 20 long years. And then again, when the war struck, and it continued till 1945, again another gentleman, that was
Franklin Roosevelt. Franklin Roosevelt.
Sir, we are not able to hear you properly. Gandhi sir, we are not here. We cannot hear you properly, sir.
The volume is not working.
So it's not good for the listeners. I think we should make a appropriate arrangement
Also
immediately.
called a meeting.
Yes, now it is okay.
Robert Schuman called a meeting of European leaders, and he formed the European Parliament, because of which it was formed in 1950. Already about, you can imagine that 70 years have passed, and no war has been there in Europe. So what I mean to say, somebody should come forward. I wrote several letters to Trump, Mr. Trump, because he made so many promises to the public, to his Pope, that I will bring peace on the earth. I will unite the world. And I wrote several letters to him, but he did not do that. Let us hope that it looks Biden might win, Joe Biden might win the American elections. We have written 3 letters to him in advance. If you win, please call a meeting of world leaders to form a world parliament so that the world can be saved for our children. So let us see the results. I hope that 1 or 2 days, within 1 or 2 days, the results will come. I will again write to Joe Biden that you have a great responsibility. Being the President of America, America should lead the world into new era of peace, prosperity, and happiness for all. And so let us hope for the best. So this was the reason why I started this 21 years ago. Till the 20th conference, 1,299, nearly 1,300 chief justices, judges, presidents and prime ministers and speakers of parliament have attended from 136 countries. And in this conference, 21st conference, 63 countries are participating. And we hope that the united voice of the world judiciary will have an effect, because I realize that the Chief Justice of Panama, Mrs.
Gracia Dixon
said that Mr. Gandhi wrote letters to me for several years. I decided not to come. But then this year I came, and even against my all wishes, because he sent a letter to me, so I came. And we realized, I had a discussion with other judges of the world, and I realized we the judges can change the realities. If we want, the judges can change the realities of the world. So judges can really change the realities of the world, and that is one of the reasons why we are holding this conference. This year, because of COVID, we could not call the chief justices and judges here in Lucknow. So we decided, our team decided, Mr. Anurag Singh and our Shishir Srivastava and our Sandeep ji and Rishi Bhaiya, they all decided, Ajay Srivastava, they decided to have it online. And I'm so happy that online conference, so many participants are participating in this online conference. It has been inaugurated through a video message by the Defense Minister of India, and our Lord Mayor is participating and presiding over the conference. I request the Lord Mayor, Sanyukta Bhatia ji, now to give his presidential address and present the key to the city of Lucknow to the President of Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Honorable His Excellency Mr. Justice Anthony Thomas Aquinas Carbona. So, Lord Mayor of Lucknow, Sanyukta Bhatia ji.
विश्व के 63 देशों से पधारे 102 माननीय स्पीकर महोदय, माननीय मंत्री,
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing the objectives of the conference.
माननीय मुख्य न्यायाधीशों, कानूनविदों एवं विश्व शांति संस्थाओं के प्रतिनिधियों का मैं लखनऊ के महापौर के रूप में हार्दिक स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन करती हूँ। साथ ही में मैं इस अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सम्मेलन के आयोजन हेतु इस अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सम्मेलन के संयोजक एवं सिटी मॉन्टेसरी स्कूल के संस्थापक प्रबंधक डॉक्टर जगदीश गांधी को हार्दिक बधाई देती हूँ कि उन्होंने भारत के साथ ही विश्व के 2.5 अरब बच्चों के साथ आगे जन्म लेने वाली पीढ़ियों के भविष्य को सुरक्षित बनाने के लिए एक बार फिर से जोरदार आवाज उठाने के लिए सभी को एक मंच पर इकट्ठा होने का अवसर प्रदान किया है। लखनऊ के नागरिकों की तरफ से मैं की टू द सिटी ऑफ लखनऊ माननीय पूर्व राष्ट्रपति त्रिनिदाद एंड टोबैगो के न्यायाधीश श्री एंटोनी थॉमस एक्यूनस कार्मोना को भेंट स्वरूप प्रदान कर रही हूँ। मैं इन्हीं शुभकामनाओं के साथ आपको बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं। धन्यवाद। थैंक यू।
It's Mr. Shishir.
May I please request?
This is the translation of the speech given by Honorable Lord Mayor of Lucknow, Honorable Srimati Sanyukta Bhatia. I heartily welcome 102 presidents, prime ministers, chief justices, judges, legal luminaries, and world-renowned peace activists from 63 countries of the world on behalf of the citizens of Lucknow in the capacity of the mayor of the city. At the same time, I would like to congratulate the convener of the conference and founder of City Montessori School, Dr. Jagdish Gandhi, for convening this important conference on behalf of the 2.5 billion children of the world for safeguarding their future and the future of the generations yet to be born. He has once again raised a very strong voice and has gathered people from all over the globe at one global peace table. On behalf of the citizens of Lucknow, it is my honor and privilege to present the key to the city of Lucknow to Honorable President of Trinidad and Tobago, Honorable Mr. Justice Anthony Thomas Aquinas Carmona. And with these good wishes, I would like to present the key to the city and the certificate to His Excellency. Thank you. We will now request
Thank you very much.
Honorable Justice Anthony Thomas Carmona to deliver his acceptance speech. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Namaste to the Chief Justices, judges, and distinguished leaders of the world. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
Today's ceremony is personally a humbling one. I wish to express my profound gratitude to Chief Guest, the Honorable Mr. Rajnath Singh, Minister of Defense, Government of India, the First Lady Mayor of the City of Lucknow, the Honorable Mrs. Sanyukta Bhatia, the organizers of the 21st Century Conference of Chief Justices of the World, especially Dr. Jagdish Gandhi and his remarkable executive, the City Montessori School, and all its students, teachers, and principals, and the people of the City of Lucknow for bestowing me this great honor. The children of the City Montessori School, like the children in my home country of Trinidad and Tobago, and the children around the world whom I have met and spoken to, they continue to be all-weather sources of inspiration and a constant reminder of our inter and intergenerational responsibility to do what is right and what is required. This award, the keys to the city of Lucknow, will serve as an inspiration to me to continue to soldier on in the trenches of advocacy, even when the results are seemingly unattainable or when persons remain indifferent to the plight of their fellow men, or when people's personal and political agenda are made superior to the needs of the people they serve. I will continue to advocate for and do the right thing because it is the right thing to do. All through my professional and personal life, I have advocated for and have been an enabler of peace, mediation, alternative dispute resolution, and restorative justice. My efforts were always in sync with Goal 16 of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and I quote, peace and justice and strong institutions. I will continue to advocate for peace, service leadership, climate action, the establishment of an international environmental court, female empowerment, the rights of the child, mediation, disability justice, a comprehensive operationalization of the Arms Trade Treaty, the human right of access to proper and affordable health care and well-being. We are living in this COVID-19 era that requires bold, courageous, and transformative leadership that inspires and motivates if we are to bequeath to future generations a better world than the one in which we live. As I've stated before, a progressive, transformational democracy must always be guided by service leadership rather than power leadership. I wish to commend the Lucknow's mayor, the Honorable Ms. Sanyukta Bhatia, for her service to this great city and the people of India, especially women. Your elevation to the position of mayor serves as a constant reminder to women and young girls in India and around the world of what is possible and what is reachable. Your personal motto is inspiring. Shanti se itana kam karo, kisho mash jai, which translate to work in peace so that noises arise. It speaks to a philosophy of working humbly and effectively in the trenches to improve the quality of life of all. My country, Trinidad and Tobago and India, share a deep-rooted historical connection that precedes our friendly international cricket rivalries over the years. Indentured laborers from Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Bengal, and Madras crossed the Kalapani to the West Indies on board the fatal Razak some 175 years ago to Trinidad and Tobago. Here, there is a defining and distinctive East Indian aura, presence, and way of life that have positively intertwined with other existing mirrored cultures. Finally, our close relationship has endured the test of time. I'm well aware of the hospitality and genuine support for our cricketers from Trinidad and Tobago and the West Indies when they ply their trade in the country. And as a people, we feel very proud of our cricketers in the India Premier League. Dayanavad, thank you. Thank you for the genuine warmth of the leaders and citizens of the city of Lucknow in Uttar Pradesh. And I do promise you that I will continue the journey of being a genuine and active proponent of peace and the culture of peace among the nations of the world. I thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for accepting our hand of friendship. And definitely, as you say, hum shanti se sab kayam karenge. And now, I request our respected convener and founder manager of City Montessori School, Dr. Jagdish Gandhi, to please invite Mr. Jerry Arathun, the Chief Executive and Secretary Council for the Indian School Certificate Examination, New Delhi, for his address.
We are extremely honored to welcome a most distinguished education leader of India, Mr. Gary Arathun, Chief Executive and Secretary of the Council for the Indian School Certificate Examination. He has changed the face of education in India. The quality education in India has been started by him, and he has improved a lot of schools all over India and abroad. for quality. And he is a highly dedicated person, highly committed person, and he has brought a lot of change in the educational system of our country. So I welcome him for kindly accepting our invitation to participate in this international conference. And he has very kindly accepted our invitation, and I request him to say a few words to address the conference.
Thank you, Dr. Gandhi. Thank you very much for all the lovely words that you had mentioned about me. Honorable Sri Rajnath Singh Ji, Minister of Defense, Government of India. Honorable Mrs. Bhatia, Mayor of Lucknow. Honorable Ministers, eminent dignitaries, Honorable Chief Justices, and judges from various countries of the world. I am extremely pleased and most humble to be present and be a part of this August gathering of some of the world's brightest minds at this online 21st International Conference of Chief Justices of the World. City Montessori School, under the leadership of its founder manager, Dr. Jagdish Gandhi, has shown how a school can fulfill its role of being a lighthouse of society by committing itself to service through which it is not only uniting the world and building peace, but also inspiring students, teachers, parents, governments, and the world judiciary to be proactive and concerned citizens of this world. I am sure that City Montessori School will lead its students to change the world for a better and more secure future for all. As leaders and eminent personalities in your respective countries, together we are with the students of CMS in their endeavor and extend our fullest support to the cause of world unity, peace, and happiness, which they have taken up. With the theme of the conference being Global Governance, Post-COVID Imperative, and given the fact that the entire world is yet to come to terms from its overall impact, but is still plenty of hope for humanity. The resilience of the human spirit is phenomenal and has always prevailed and overcome even under the most adverse and difficult situation. So will we, from this COVID-19 pandemic of 2020, and it is our children who will show the way in the spirit of unity, peace, and happiness. I take this opportunity to wish you all a very fruitful conference and hope that your deliberations will bring the change that we want to see in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for joining us on this march, towards unity and building a new society which is inclusive of all the people, the entire human race. Thank you for that outstanding message you gave us today. And taking forward the program, what is it that will bring forth this unity we envisage all the time? I think it's the purity of the thoughts that come to our heart and mind, intertwined with music and dance. And that is what this unique society has been doing for a very long time over the past many years. And they have been coming to the Chief Justices conferences with their beautiful presentations time and again. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, a cultural presentation by members of the Federation of World Peace and Love, FAWPOL as we call them. They are here again with their mellifluous message of peace, and abiding unity in the world.
This year, participants of the annual International Conference of Chief Justices of the World can only meet virtually due to the pandemic. However, our passion to change the world and to encourage each other is just as strong. FOPAL would like to send our best wishes through traditional martial arts and cultural presentations. Martial artists learn from nature. They learn to be brave like the carp and be determined to surpass oneself. Carps are beautiful and auspicious creatures that swim freely in the waters. Legend has it that if a carp swims tirelessly against the current and successfully jumps over the dragon's gate, it will transform into an auspicious dragon. Conscious warriors traveled here from the past to start a new era. 1, 2, 3. Systems online. Let's awaken our conscience to transform the world. In unity, let's spread love and conscience. We wish everyone endless energy, serenity, and joy. Shining fire. As we face the challenges of 2020, you and I are leaders of conscience. Together, we can bring positive change to the world. We wish the 21st International Conference of Chief Justices of the World a great success.
Members of the Federation of World Peace and Love, that was truly energetic, joyous, full of optimism, brimming right up to the top. Thank you so very much. Time now for me to invite, ladies and gentlemen, President of City Montessori School and Managing Director, Professor Geeta Gandhi Kingdon, to propose the vote of thanks. Professor Geeta Gandhi Kingdon, ladies and gentlemen.
What an amazing evening this has been. Evening in India, afternoon in Europe and Africa, and probably early-ish in the morning in Latin America, Central America, from which many of our esteemed guests have joined us, and very late in the evening in East Asia. Thank you so much from wherever you are joining. It gives me great pleasure to just add my own gratitude. And I want to point out that, there's no harm, there's no shame in saying what the truth is. The truth is that we are a school. We are not an influential international organization. We're not a big business. We're not a political institution or an executive institution. We are a school. And a school is a humble institution. But to such a humble institution, probably unarguably, some of the most eminent people of the world have come to today and during the course of this forthcoming conference to meet with some of the humblest people on the planet, namely school teachers, school children, and people like the management of a school. And what is it that we have the utter privilege? What is it that makes you willing to come and be with such a relatively insignificant institution? Is not even a university among educational institutions. And I believe that that thing is, if I was to encapsulate that, there is an old adage which is probably has a lot of wisdom in it, namely that the birds of a feather flock together. Now, we are not birds of a feather in the traditional sense of the word, of the phrase, birds of a feather. We are very diverse in our ages, in our genders, in our nationalities, in our religions, in our languages, and so on and so forth, culture and so forth. But what is the binding thread, the uniting concept, the principle, is the common concern that we have for the issues for which we have come together to discuss at this conference. And I think this emotional similarity, this intellectual similarity is the binding thread, and that is the birds of a feather applied to us. Friends, the COVID crisis has heightened awareness in those quarters where such awareness did not already exist. The COVID crisis has heightened the awareness of our interdependence on each other. We realized as a world that we're only as strong as the weakest link among us, that the well-off countries or the well-off individuals are not immune from harm. If there are less privileged individuals or somewhere else in the world there is a crisis, it touches all our lives. And therefore, we recognize more than ever before our interdependence. And therefore, also, probably there is a greater awareness of a heightened awareness of the need for a global governance that can effectively address global challenges, because we are now an interdependent world, a world where it's not only trade and not only the social media, but also employment, migration, the spread of diseases, the spread of pollution across borders, the spread of international terrorism. All of those things have made us one society. And therefore, the institutions that are needed to govern adequately such a society are woefully inadequate. The concepts that are still ruling the world, the principles on which global governance is a fragile global governance is based, are inadequate. The concept of national sovereignty, for instance, is a concept that really needs to be looked at today and re-examined. And the Constitution of the United Nations, the Charter of the United Nations, which was it was embedded in the Constitution that it would be
ये इसमें से
reviewed,
कॉपी नहीं होता,
that needs
कॉपी या
to
कट
be
नहीं होता.
uh, reviewed as well. That needs to happen. So, this conference, friends, why are we organizing it? And in simple terms, of course, it has been explained as well. And you know, those of you who have kindly attended this conference over the past few years, several years, some of you have attended it very with great abiding loyalty and commitment to this cause, that we as a school are in it with the purity of intention. That is what we bring to it, and we bring to it a commitment. The founding motto of City Monastery School was Jai Jagat, victory to the world, wishing not just for the victory of our own land, but victory of the whole world, based on the idea of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, which our Honorable Defense Minister just enunciated earlier, meaning the earth is one family. So this is our ancient tradition. And based on that, our founding motto of our school in 1959, 61 years ago, was this idea of wishing for the victory of the world. So we have sought to create in the mindsets of our children this value, this ethic, this belief that the world is one common homeland and we are all its citizens and we need to be responsible citizens. So we are committed to global citizenship education, which I'm happy to say was one of the goals of the educational goal of the Sustainable Development Goals, Goal 4 of the SDGs, which is on education. One of the 7 indicators or targets in that goal is global citizenship education. The mainstreaming of global citizenship education in our curricula, in terms of not only content, subject matter knowledge about it, assessments on global citizenship, and teacher training on global citizenship and education policy documents of the countries. And I'm very happy to tell you in this international audience, although the Indian participants would probably already know this, that 3 separate chapters of the new National Education Policy of India, which was just promulgated in July 2020, 3 of the chapters talk about the centrality and importance of global citizenship education. So this acceptance at the level of nation states that we need now to also impart not just an education of citizenship, but also of global citizenship. That's a very significant move, I believe. And I think it's symptomatic of the times. It is indicative of the direction of travel where we are headed as humanity. This is an important concept: education for sustainable development, education for global citizenship. So I think that these are important moves. And I believe that the purpose of the platform that has been created here over the next 3 days at this Chief Justice's conference, the purpose is to also provide a platform for the judiciary to reflect on the roles that it can play in assisting the thinking towards a better global governance that can address adequately the issues that are facing the world today. And they are grave issues. And when you read books such as the one that I'm reading at the moment, The Uninhabitable Earth, for instance, is a book that has become an international bestseller, which I'm reading at the moment. And you are just struck with the emergency of the situation. And without being, how shall I say, alarmist about it, there is absolutely realism in this. So this conference is going to be looking at issues such as climate justice, global governance, multilateralism, going with the science rather than with superstition or extraneous beliefs and hunches and ideologies, going with the science instead of those things. We're going to be hopefully talking about how to dismantle outmoded notions of national sovereignty, democratization of the United Nations, how that can be achieved, unity of religions and thoughts across the world, change in pedagogy that is needed in order to embed a responsible citizenship as part of school curricula, and indeed a plethora of other issues that will be discussed at this conference. So I thank you so much for being a part of this process, for keeping the faith with us, and being a part of this process with this very insignificant institution. We are utterly humbled and delighted and truly honored that you are accompanying the children and teachers of a school in coming together to think about these issues, and our children shall have the opportunity of hearing you during this conference. I'd like to thank FOPAL for their distinguished participation in this event, for contributing their cultural items. I'd like to thank Dr. Vinita Kamran, the secretary of the conference. I'd like to thank all the people of the colleagues, my valued colleagues at the World Unity Education Department. And friends, I invite you to just notice that this school has a department called World Unity Education Department. You could call it Global Citizenship Education Department. So I'm very, very happy that we have the honor to have such an unusual department, but I believe that we were in step with the needs of the time when we sought to impart this kind of education. And we want you to help us to further enhance our provisioning of this kind of education, which you're absolutely doing by being at this conference, because in every single session, many of our students will be there, present at the conference, at every single session, and hearing you and learning from you. So thank you so much to everybody who has helped to organize this conference. And thank you most of all, the eminent judges and legal luminaries and heads of states and former heads of states who are here to help us with this conversation along the way. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Geeta ma'am, for that wonderful summation of all the efforts of the school in bringing about global governance and unity of hearts and mind. And let us assure this world that we may be a school, but in fact we are the chisel with which we will chip away at the mammoth mountain of disunity and free the path to the shining light of unity, which will bring forth global governance very soon. Thank you for your kind words, and I take this opportunity to invite Dr. Jagdish Gandhi, the convener of the conference, to propose a vote of thanks to Mr. Jerry Arathun, who was here with us a few minutes ago.
We are extremely thankful to Mr. Gary Arathun, Chief Executive and Secretary of the Council for the Indian School Certificate Examination, to have accepted our invitation. He is a very, very busy person, and still he found time to be with us in this conference for overly 2 hours and 30 minutes. And blessing us all with these words, I thank him for kindly agreeing to participate in this event. Thank you so much, sir, Mr. Gary Arathun. Thank you.
May I just add my...
Thank you, sir.
May I just...
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end moment of this inaugural session. We are very thankful to all those who made this possible, this dream to become a reality. I'm also very thankful to my senior compere and friend and host, Mrs. Vera Hajela, and to Dr. Vinita Kamran, the senior principal of Kanpur Road campus, who hosted us here today, for making this a beautiful occasion to be remembered. We have together created history because we have come together to be a part of a march that is ultimately going to end in bringing the unity of heart, the minds, and the world. Thank you. Let us all rise for the national anthem as we bid adieu to each other tonight.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव
शुभ नामे जागे, तव शुभ आशीष मांगे, गाहे तव जय गाथा। जन जन मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे, जय 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 हे।
Ladies and gentlemen, good night, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to some of you. Thank you very, very much from all of us here at City Montessori School. Thank you. Jai Jagat.